You can't do mass market with the similar one.
No.
As far as this kind of fabric goes.
So my name is Aminata Kane. I'm 28. I was born in France, and this is where I spent my early childhood.
And that'll probably be the last weekend of the month.
Okay.
We were taking her everywhere, going to the cinema, to the theater, traveling a lot, going to so many places. So I think she had a very, very interesting childhood.
I've always loved clothing. I've always loved beautiful things and creative things. And I think it also comes from being surrounded by this environment of casual couture. I've always loved that.
We thought that it was important to see Aminata open to the world, but to be also rooted. It was the reason why we came back in Africa.
So this is where I grew up. I grew up in Senegal, in West Africa. A year and a half ago, I decided to do an MBA. So I applied to MIT Sloan, which was my favorite school because of the entrepreneurial spirit, and got lucky and I got admitted. And probably thanks to MIT, to my experience, to growing up in Senegal, I made the decision to come here and start a business in Senegal. The very precise idea came to me when I was working on a project at McKinsey here in Senegal. I realized that my wardrobe that I loved so much when I was in Paris, and I was so effective there, was absolutely out of context here. Everybody has a local tailor here, 2, 3, 4. It's as common as hailing a taxi. But it was taking like 3 weeks to get a garment, and the quality of the garment wasn't always what I was expecting it to be. So I found a gap in the market. I don't understand that we have a lot of talented tailors, and that we're not using these people. We're not helping them to grow their businesses. We're not using their services because it takes a lot of time. So this is how the idea came to me, to create a brand that will match our needs in terms of body shapes, in terms of fabric that are good for the weather, in terms of pricing, and in terms of like easiness to get. And this is what Fula&Style is about, making sure that the women here in Africa have things that reflect what they like which is a mix of African Senegalese tradition and international and Western flair, but at the same time that is affordable, that is fitted to our body, that can help them to aspire to be a better person. So at Fula&Style, what we want to do is completely revolutionize the tailoring process. We came up with the idea of having semi-sewn kits, pre-assembled, pre-cut, pre-assembled, and it just needs to be finalized and finished. The seams need to be finished on the side, the parts where the body are really different. The bodies are really different.
Alors, est-ce que vous voyez où est le ngalam?
So with this pre-assembled kit, you go to your own tailor, you take it there, and within like less than an hour, your clothes is complete, the garment is complete, and looks exactly as it was in the store. But to do that, we need to have a lot of information on the sizes. And as we don't have that, this data don't exist, we need to collect this data. And to do that, and to better understand the taste of customers, we started to have a collection of ready-to-wear clothes. And when the clients come in, we see if it fits or not, and if it doesn't, we do the adjustments. We make the adjustments for them, and then therefore we can have information on what are their size, what are the styles they like, and what actually needs to be adjusted. I'm really passionate about fashion and about clothing. So one of the most exciting times for me is when the creative part comes in.
Avec sans manches, avec manche, pardon.
The past two collections that we've done, I designed them myself. I'm not a designer at all, but it's my passion, so I try, and I have some people who have the technical skills to help me on making my designs come to life.
Donc tu fais des déclinaisons.
So probably the most exciting time for me is when I start sketching and I see a style that I like, or I think about something. I go to the market and I buy samples of fabrics to try to see if it would be good, not good. I test the quality. If it's not working, I go back to the supplier and I argue with him. Why did you do this fabric that you sold me? Every woman wants to wear this one. However, has so many issues. Once you wash it once, all the color is fading away. And sometimes the color fades on you before it fades in the water. It's like, I've had this experience of buying it once, never again. But it's beautiful. And then I go back to the tailors who are extremely experienced, and I discuss with them, okay, this is what I want to do, what do you think of that? And then they give me their inputs. Because they have technical skills and the experience, they tell me, this should not be this, you should draw the sleeves like this because it will use less fabric, you should make this a little bit longer, this fabric is too tight, whenever the woman's going to sit, the seams are going to crack or to open. Once we agree on styles, on fabrics and on designs, then I go and I get the fabric from the suppliers here in Dakar. This one doesn't fit. Delphine, moi j'ai peur du blanc. Then once it's out, I test with the customers. I see, I love also that part, like talking to customers, getting their feedback. So you might think that it's not necessarily an issue, but think about it. What I love about MIT is you get tons of opportunities to pitch, right? So you have your idea and you have pitching competitions, you have business plan competitions, you have tons of opportunity to present your business. And at the beginning, the feedback I was getting was that clothing and fashion was not necessarily what Africa needed. When people tell me, well, Africa is not ready for fashion, I said, open your eyes. It's actually what people are looking for. There are fashion weeks in almost every country. Here in Dakar, there are 3 fashion weeks. And then if you go to every city, you will see Lagos Fashion Week, Johannesburg Fashion Week, Accra Fashion Week. Everywhere there are fashion weeks, and this is what people want. It's about time that people realize that there are opportunities in every single dimension, in every single sector, not only in mining, energy, but also in fashion, in culture, in all these kind of things that people really like. It's critical that we don't forget that the cultural component and the mindset opening component is critical to a development, right? And comes with it. I love being in this environment where women talk to women and we know our issues. So when clients come in, they understand that they see there's someone who they can talk to and they can really benefit from their advice. As part of the team, you have here in Senegal, Delphine, who is working here full-time. She's running the store, she's managing the relationship with customers, she's handling the production to make sure that things are going well. She's doing a tremendous and awesome job. In Boston, I'm working with 2 lovely, adorable women who are Felicitas and Valentina. Then we have a pool of amazing mentors.
What else is going on this week?
Today we were having our big kickoff meeting because Felicitas arrived only on Saturday. That the feedback were very positive. They said they would come back with their daughters.
Where do they wear it? Mm-hmm. What do they do in a day? Where do you party? Design or describe?
right. Thank you so much.
Take care. Have a good time.
For me, it's really important that we have very straightforward communication between my teammates and I.
Aminata's style of management is very directed towards her peers. So she doesn't put herself above us, but rather she considers herself to be part of the team that she put together. So something that's very important for her is communication. So whatever you learned, whatever you said, whatever you did, you have to tell her. And she does the same.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Quel a été le feedback des clientes, etc. Ce que vous avez appris en fait aujourd'hui. So I'm asking every time that we get feedback on how the session went, how the day went. I really integrate their inputs on what they like, what they don't like, what they think is. And sometimes we disagree, and sometimes I'm just okay. If you think it's that, let's do that. Let's take a risk. And
C'est joli le rouge, hein? Rouge bordeaux.
I think Delphine is very outspoken. So she's going to tell Aminata things, even if she disagrees with something, she will tell her. And I think that's something Aminata allowed to happen because she knows it's good because it's the opinion of somebody who's here.
It's really hard for a startup here to convince people that there is a vision.
You need to learn to be convincing and tell them that it is going to work, that you believe in your business, even though it's not a business yet.
And generally, from talking to people here, potential clients or other people in the business, there's also a certain amount of skepticism.
Sometimes I share my vision with people and they say, yes, but we will never be able to do that in Senegal. These are the things that are done in France, or these are the things that are done in the US.
But then you have to deal with a few items. Number one is the human resources. Okay, you really have to find the workers, the right workers.
I think it's really important for people to set high standards, international standards, and not local standards, and not settle at all for that. Or sometimes some tailors tell me, yeah, but most of the clients are happy with that. Yes, but I'm not happy with it. And that's not how you should be. You should be happy with a perfect level of quality and not at this average level of quality / bad level of quality. The National Office of Statistics was saying that roughly in Dakar you have 100,000 tailors who are here and who are actually not working in a formal sector. So they are all informal. And this is what we want to do. We want to make sure that we satisfy clients by providing a mix of like couture and Senegalese tradition. We also want to make people, adding additional skills, making people understand that it's better to be in the formal sector where you can access so much more and you can be so much more established. This is what I want to do. And this is like part of developing a country, how you make people move from one sector to the other.
When she started Fula&Style, the idea and still is to do everything to use the raw materials and everything from Africa. Okay? That's a big challenge. That's a really big challenge because the other people working in fashion, doing stuff here, they go to China. They're trying to find cheaper material.
I've asked for a Fula&Style dress to be replicated in China, and it was like 30 or 40% cheaper to do that, or including shipping to Senegal. I was completely astonished, but it would be a completely different model if I would produce in China. I wouldn't be doing that for the continent, I would be just doing that for customers. And for me, it doesn't make sense. Any kind of business in Africa needs to have a development component. That businesses won't get away with only making profit. It might be okay for the short term, but for the longer term, to grow and to develop and to be established, there will need to be a development component. And this is why at Fula&Style, we want to do our tailor academy, which will have a production component, of course, but that will also have a teaching component. Of course, it's not going to be as cheap as Chinese clothes, or clothes from China, or clothes from Bangladesh, of course, But we're also selling something, we're also selling a story. We're selling a story of a woman who aspired to be chic, to aspire to be elegant, to be powerful, and to be in control of what she's wearing and feeling good at the same time. So of course this woman would not go for the cheap clothes that doesn't look exactly as she likes, but she will turn up to us Fula&Style.
I think since I came back from Senegal, I really took the time to reflect on how was my time there, how was the dynamic with the teams, how was what was the feedback that the customers were giving us. It was a great opportunity because I got to prove that some of my assumptions were wrong. At the beginning, I thought that we could produce affordable clothing in Senegal of high quality. That was my whole thing. But I realized that actually the quality of the clothes that we were getting was very inconsistent. It was just painful. So now, being an entrepreneur, I need to figure out how I'm going to rebound, right? And what's going to be next and how I'm going to transform the business, because I still have this vision, but we have to change a little bit the business model. So basically what I've decided is that I needed to figure out what was important to me in this business. The one thing that is important to me and that I stand for is that I want to keep the production local. So to do that, I will need to train people. Education is going to be critical. That because I'm in the phase where I'm thinking and I'm reflecting on this, it doesn't mean that the business is not going still, right? So since January, I've also closed some deals with businesses. And this has been like really, really good to keep the activity going. So I've had 3 big contracts. And I've also actually realized that I have a lot of demand from African-American women who are really excited about the products. Every time I go to a conference, I get like 20 business cards of women asking me to send them the piece or like, the website, or where can they order, etc. So I think there is a huge market here. My commitment is to Africa. How can I contribute to the development of my country first and the continent next? So I'm moving back. I'm graduating on June 6th, and 3 days later I'm on my way back to Africa. But also because I know that there is a potential market here in the West, here in the US, and that I'm going to target hopefully by next year. Once my production is ready, my production line is ready, here I come.